Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Supergirl, the mid-season finale. So let's start talking about this episode. With this episode, we get to see kind of the final battle between Astra and Kara. And in this battle, Kara wins. And, you know, Kara starts to learn a little bit about Astra, seeing that maybe Astra's not the villain. And Astra is the villain, because Astra was just playing with Supergirl. We see that Alex looks over the footage, and Astra made Supergirl win. It was all part of the plan. That way, the group of Astra's army would go to Maxwell Lord, and I don't know what their motive was with Maxwell Lord, but they wanted to defeat him. And we get to see the DEO, including Martian Manhunter, or, you know, just Hank. Some of his eyes glow, but we don't get to see full-on Martian Manhunter with this episode. But he's there. They're trying to attack the other aliens, the other people that are on Astra's team, and it's a big fight between Non and Supergirl, which is the end of the episode. Other things happening here are definitely some plots that have been building up throughout the season. One being that Wynn might have the confidence to tell Kara his feelings, and Jimmy's like, hey, do it, like, I'm not in your way, come on, we're friends, and I think you like Kara, so you should, you know, ask her out or whatever. So we'll see how that plays out in the next half of the season. But the big story with Kat, or at least Kat Co, is that she was hacked, and she's ready to step down. There's this guy that was manipulating her, and then Kara and the team are able to figure out a way to stop the hacks, including Lucy. I'm glad that they included Lucy here. But the big reveal in the end of this episode is that Kat Grant uses her brain, and she thinks about all the events that have happened in the past couple of weeks with Supergirl and Kara, and she's like, Kara, Supergirl, and there's just this amazing scene between them, which I'll get to. But what did I think about the overall episode? At first I actually thought it was a bit of a slow episode. I was like, oh, this is the mid-season finale, and I do feel with them balancing Astra and Maxwell Lord as the villain, it does get confusing of who actually is the villain of the show, and that's why it's a little less satisfying when you have an Astra episode like this, because it's like, is she the villain, is she not? But I think this episode does prove a bit more that hopefully she is the villain of the season, and maybe Maxwell Lord is just this villain we'll see throughout the seasons. So I'm still confused of who is the big bad, and I'm still trying to figure out if it's a good thing that we don't know or a bad thing. But I liked a lot of the emotional things that happen here between Astra and Kara, and her still dealing with, you know, her being alien, and that's always going to be something built up, and Melissa does such a great job at expressing those feelings. And there's, again, another wonderful emotional scene where Melissa talks to her mom, or at least a hologram of her mom, and she uses her heat vision on her, because like, you're lying to me, you used me. But then once again, you see her and Kat talk, and Kat doesn't know what, you know, Kara is actually dealing with, but she always has these wise words of wisdom, and saying, because we find out that Kat also has another son, and you know, talking about her regret of that. And then Kara puts in perspective, like, oh, now I understand why my mom would bring me to Earth, not to be a prisoner, but because it's the only choice she had. So it's Kara kind of trying to figure this all out, because again, it's very different for Kara's journey compared to Superman's journey. With Superman, he was just a baby when he came here. He doesn't remember Krypton. And I love that they keep reminding us in the show that Kara does remember Krypton, and she has life experiences there. And we really see that to the fullest in this episode with the flashbacks of Astra, and also her feelings of leaving her home planet. She knew her home planet, and I hope we get to explore that even more. And I guess one reason I felt like it wasn't a mid-season finale, because I felt like they didn't touch enough on Martian Manhunter. We had that huge reveal last episode that maybe I feel like maybe they should have kept for this episode, or maybe it would have been too much, but I feel like that was such a big reveal. It's like, how do you live up to that? And I think that was kind of the problem with this episode, is like, you can't live up to the Martian Manhunter reveal. But I'm glad that they kind of touched upon it. You have some fun scenes between Alex and Hank, and not Martian Manhunter really, it's just Hank. Him saying, yeah, you know, I can read people's minds, and Alex like, you can? Is like, yeah, but I can't read Kryptonian minds. But it does seem like in this world that Superman knows who Martian Manhunter is, so that's pretty exciting. Hopefully we could see more of that, I guess, friendship even without seeing Superman. But going back to it, what was my favorite scene of this episode is that Kat Grant and Kara scene, because I'm a big sucker for a good reveal scene, you know, of a superhero telling their best friend or whatever, a person that they're the hero or they have powers. And, you know, there's some shows that tend to do it a lot, and then people are like, oh, too many people know. A good example of that, honestly, is Flash. Linda knows who Barry is in a weird way. I was like, does she really have to know? Probably not. But here, I feel like this is a scene where Kat figured it out. There's so many times where, you know, fans will complain and say, well, how didn't this person figure it out? It was right there. And I feel like a lot of times you kind of have to make the character play stupid. Even if a character is really smart or is a journalist or whatever, and you kind of have to make the character play stupid. But here, Kat's like, I thought about it, and you're Supergirl. I love that scene. I feel like that's the first time I actually seen it in that way, where it's like, I thought about it for a second, and you're actually Supergirl. And I liked how she kind of looked up to Kara after that, and I'm really curious of what their dynamic is going to be like now. I've always liked that Kat gave advice to Kara every episode without knowing she's Supergirl, but now that she's Supergirl, there's going to be now knowing that Kat knows she's Supergirl, there's a lot of dynamics you have to play with. Will Kat reveal to the world that she's Supergirl? How will Kat help Kara? And what is this power dynamic now? Kat's always been more powerful than Kara, or is it going to be this balanced dynamic? And will Kara still be her assistant? I don't know. I'm really curious, and will Kat play a bigger part in, like, helping in their Scooby Gang with Winn and James? I'm really curious to see this new dynamic, but I love that scene. I love how Kat figured it out. I think it was perfect. I don't feel like it was quick. I feel like that could have been a moment where it's like, oh yeah, she figured that out a little bit too quickly. She just used her brain and figured it out, and I love that, and that was the best way for Kat to find out, and I am totally okay with her knowing in season 1, because again, it changes the dynamic and it changes a lot for the show, and that's kind of what I like about Supergirl, is how much has happened in just 8 episodes. It's very much on par with Flash, how Flash had a lot of things happening in season 1. I think Supergirl is doing that in the same way, where it doesn't feel like too much, but it's just so much awesomeness in a great way. So, love the Kat scene. I thought it was a pretty good mid-season finale. I do think last episode was a little bit better with the Martian Manhunter reveal, but still really, really curious to see, obviously, where the show goes. And I think this show is actually returning a little bit earlier than our other superhero shows. So I think it's like the week after New Year's, which is great because they started later, so I'm glad we're getting episodes earlier. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links for my comic book, like Father Like Daughter, and don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.